Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Mohon perhatian, program akan bermula sebentar sahaja lagi. Bagi memastikan kelancaran program pada pagi ini, diminta para hadirin untuk memastikan mikrofon dalam mood senyap. Kerjasama hadirin sekalian amatlah dihargai. Sekian, terima kasih. Baiklah, tanpa melengahkan masa lagi, dengan lafaz Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh dan salam sejahtera, salam UTM Sanjungan Bangsa. Yang berusaha Dr. Fairuz Diana binti Ismail serta ahli unit jawatan kuasa pelaksana yang dihormati penceramah kita pada hari ini Dr. Akmali Mokhter serta para hadirin yang saya kasihi sekalian. Selamat datang dan terima kasih diucapkan kepada semua yang hadir kerana sudi bersama-sama kita pada hari ini untuk meluangkan masa bagi memastikan menyempurnakan program bertemakan Make Everyday Earth Day pada pagi ini. Saya Aziza binti Arfian selaku MC dan pengacara majlis anda pada hari ini. Barang persoalan boleh diajukan di ruangan komen dan akan dijawab semasa sesi soal jawab nanti. Para hadirin sekalian, terlebih dahulu, marilah kita merafakkan kesyukuran kehadrat ilahi kerana dengan limpah dan kurnianya kita diberikan kesempatan untuk bersama-sama pada hari ini bagi menjayakan program Make Everyday Earth Day. Terusnya, bagi menyempurnakan majlis menjemput Saudara Muhammad Nur Akmal bin Buhari bagi membacakan doa. Dengan itu, majlis menjemput Saudara Muhammad Nur Akmal.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Alhamdulillahirabbil alamin. Wassalatu wassalamu ala asyrafil mursalin wa ala alihi wa ashabihi ajmain. Allahumma innaka khalaqal azim, innaka sami'un alim, innaka ghafurur rahim, innaka rabbul arsyil azim. Ya Allah, Ya Rahman, Ya Rahim, hanya padamu sahaja kami panjatkan kesyukuran atas segala rahmat dan berkat-Mu. Bersempena dengan majlis program kami pada hari ini, kami memohon inayah dan taufik-Mu. Kurniakanlah kesejahteraan dan kebahagiaan kepada kami. Bukakanlah hati-hati kami, lapangkanlah dada kami supaya kami dapat mengisi ilmu dan pengetahuan yang berguna untuk agama, bangsa dan negara. Kami memohon kepadamu agar engkau berkatilah majlis program ini dengan limpahan rahmat-Mu. Semoga segala urusan kami dalam menjayakan majlis ini mendapat keredaan dan hidayah-Mu. Ya Allah, Ya Karim, sesungguhnya pada hari ini kami berkumpul kerana-Mu, Ya Allah. Kami berkumpul untuk menimba ilmu, bertukar pendapat, menyumbangkan buah fikiran, menghubungkan silaturahim dan memberi sokongan ke arah meningkatkan lagi prestasi kami. Kami memohon kekuatan dari hadrat-Mu, Ya Allah, supaya kami yang hadir pada hari ini agar kami dapat melaksanakan segala kebajikan. Dan kami mohon perlindungan dengan Engkau yang boleh melakukan keburukan. Ya Allah, kurniakanlah kepada kami kekayaan ilmu pengetahuan dan hiasilah diri kami dengan sifat lemah lembut. Serta muliakanlah kami dengan ketakwaan dan indahkanlah diri kami dengan kesihatan. Rabbana atina fid dunya hasanah wa fil akhirati hasanah wa qina azabannar. Wassallallahu ala sayyidina Muhammad wa ala alihi wa sahbihi wasallam. Walhamdulillahirabbil alamin. Amin.
Amin, amin ya rabbal alamin. Terima kasih atas doa yang dibacakan oleh saudara Muhammad Nur Akmal Buhari sebentar tadi. Terusnya, izinkan saya memperkenalkan serba sedikit mengenai program kita pada hari ini. Program ini adalah untuk menekankan kepentingan amalan 3R iaitu reuse, reduce dan recycle dalam kehidupan seharian dan juga ingin membangkitkan kesedaran terhadap perubahan persekitaran. Selain itu, program ini juga mempraktikkan perkongsian ilmu tentang kita semula terhadap para pelajar. Terusnya, bagi tanpa melengahkan masa lagi, majlis mempersilakan Dr. Fairuz Diana binti Ismail bagi menyampaikan kata-kata beliau. Dengan itu, majlis Dengan segala hormatnya, mempersilakan.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Terima kasih saudari pengacara majlis. Yang berbahagia penceramah jemputan kita pada hari ini serta para hadirin yang saya kasih sekalian. Yang dikasihi saudari Chua Hijia, pengarah program Make Everyday Earth Day, barisan jawatan kuasa pelaksana program Make Everyday Earth Day serta mahasiswa-mahasiswi yang dikasihi sekalian. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi taala wabarakatuh dan selamat sejahtera. Selamat datang dan terima kasih saya ucapkan sekali lagi kepada semua hadirin yang hadir ke program Make Everyday Earth Day pada hari ini. Jadi sebenarnya program Make Everyday Earth Day ini bertujuan untuk membantu memberi kesedaran kepada para pelajar tentang kepentingan amalan 3R iaitu reuse, reduce dan recycle, mewujudkan sikap tanggungjawab, empati dan rasional dalam kalangan pelajar untuk sentiasa cakna dan peka dengan amalan 3R dalam kehidupan seharian. Seterusnya, selain daripada program ceramah kita pada hari ini, Jawatan Kuasa Pelaksana Program juga telah merangka satu bengkel di mana dalam bengkel tersebut diharapkan dapat menunjukkan kreativiti dan meningkatkan pemahaman para pelajar dalam menghasilkan produk DIY, do it yourself yang boleh mempamerkan kreativiti dan inovasi pelajar dengan menggunakan barangan kita semula. Seterusnya, dapat memberi pendedahan dan ilmu baru tentang keadaan semasa terhadap cara pembuangan sampah yang betul dan mempraktikkan konsep kita semula. Jadi sebenarnya based on kalau kita lihat sekarang ni sebenarnya terdapat lebih 23,000 tan bahan buangan di Malaysia setiap hari dan kadar ini dijangkakan akan berterusan semakin meningkat disebabkan oleh peningkatan dalam populasi dan pembangunan yang berterusan. Malangnya hanya 5% sahaja penghuni penduduk yang mengamalkan 3R dalam kehidupan seharian. Jadi sebenarnya kalau dibandingkan dengan negara maju seperti Austria, Belanda dan lain-lain lagi, kadar kita semula di negara kita adalah sangat rendah. Okey. Okey, seterusnya saya ingin mengucapkan tahniah dan syabas kepada barisan jawatan kuasa program Make Everyday Earth Day serta semua yang hadir pada majlis pada hari ini. Sukacita juga saya ingin berkongsi bahawa program Make Everyday Earth Day ini merupakan program anjuran pelajar-pelajar untuk kursus Sains dan Community UKQF2082 Section 08 di bawah sekalian saya dan kursus ini juga, kursus Sains dan Community ini merupakan salah satu kursus pembelajaran servis learning di bawah Pusat Akademik dan Pengalaman Pembelajaran KAIL, Institut Siswazah Tersedia Kehidupan UTM University Teknologi Malaysia. Semoga harapan saya semoga semua program yang dijalankan pada hari ini dapat membantu para pelajar lebih membuka minda berkaitan dengan amalan 3R dan diharapkan semua perkongsian dapat dimanfaatkanlah untuk semua orang pada hari ini. Saya dengan itu dengan lafaz Bismillahirrahmanirrahim saya merasmikan program Make Everyday Earth Day. Sekian, terima kasih.
Terima kasih diucapkan kepada Dr. Fairuz Diana binti Ismail atas ucapan dan perasmian beliau sebentar tadi. Baiklah, sidang hadirin sekalian, tanpa melengahkan masa lagi, dijemput Dr. Muhammad Akmali bin Mokhter bagi memulakan ceramah bertemakan Road Towards Zero Waste pada pagi ini. Dengan segala hormatnya, majlis mempersilakan.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi taala wabarakatuh dan salam sejahtera diucapkan kepada semua para hadirin. Terima kasih terutamanya kepada saudari pengerusi majlis, saudari Azizah binti Arifin, yang dihormati Dr. Fairuz Diana selaku penyelaras program ataupun penyelia UKQF untuk section ni. Kepada pengarah program saudari Chua Okay, dan juga barisan komiti program Make Every Day of Day. Semoga semuanya siap-siap belaka dan saya ingin merakamkan jutaan terima kasihlah kepada pihak komiti kerana memberi peluang pada saya lah kepercayaan untuk berkongsi sedikit sebanyak ilmu pengetahuan berkaitan dengan environment, berkaitan dengan ekosistem dan juga tajuk yang diberikan spesifik pada kali ini uh, lebih kepada dia masih lagi under sustainability tapi towards the solutions that we can make in order to protect our environment, and the topic is road towards zero waste betul kan? Okay. So basically, I think this is I'm not sure how many times already that I have been invited for this UKQF to deliver this kind of talk. But every year I try to add on the recent details, something like that lah. Okay. And every year the topics is also a little bit changed, but still under the scope environment. So I will try to make it general for certain parts, and I will highlight on the points that has been emphasized by the committee lah to be delivered. Okay, so basically, I'm actually a lecturer, senior lecturer in Department of Chemistry, and my research field and background of study is really into environment, and more specifically, my project in UTM, and since my studies in master and PhD is always on water reclamation or wastewater treatment using methods like filtration, absorption, and membrane studies lah. Okay, so I am actually also the research group member under separation science technology and advanced membrane technology, MTech, which is under chemical engineering. Okay, so that is my background. Okay, so I will share the slide so you guys can look around, and I will control the slide. I hope you can see my slide now. Okay, all right, you can see, everyone can see my slide.
Ya. Boleh,
Okay.
Doktor.
Okay, if you have any question, you can just interrupt, or you can, or maybe there will be the Q&A session at the end of the talk. Aziza, is there any?
Yes, there
Within
is
1
a
hour, right?
Q&A session. Yes.
At 11 or before 11?
Before 11.
Before 11 lah.
After 11. After 11.
After 11. So I need to
Yeah.
stop talking at 11 lah, okay?
Yes.
Right. Okay, so as for today topic, it is all related to the Earth Day. So I think I have scrolled quite a few times on the IG and IG story of this committee lah, Make Every Day Earth Day, which is very interesting, and also I have to claim from you guys lah, the committee. I take some of your informations, and I mean the stories ataupun the posting on your IG as my slides lah. Okay, because I think it is very good, and maybe some of you didn't have the time to scroll the IG, but I do. So I will share. I screenshot from the IG, and then I will share with you guys lah, because the facts are very interesting to be known lah. Okay, all right. So this is the outline of the content for my presentation today. I will actually brief a little bit about before we go for the solutions. I will brief about the introduction on ecology system and ecosystem lah, basically, and the theories behind the ecology study, Okay, sustainability and solutions. Okay, and then I will go to the 3Rs concept. Apa tu? Reduce, reuse, and recycle. And then lastly the conclusion lah. Okay. So as the introduction, the study on the ecology, when we talk about environment, the study about environment is called ecology, right? So it's like biology, chemistry, etc. With G at the end, it is all related to the study lah. Okay, so we actually try to relate the environment with the study about the organism and all the living things and non-living things in our environment. So in this world, for your information, we are not living alone. So we need to know that besides human, we also have other elements. We have other organisms that are actually living and sharing the same place as us. Okay, as human. So without being selfish, we have to think about others. We have to think about others, not only human but also about our ecosystem, our environment, our animals that are living on the same planet as us. Okay, so we have to think about them. Okay, so this is the ecosystem that made up of individual, okay, individual like us, individually, community, okay, community, population, okay, and the whole of this system is called ecosystem. All right, so from individual to the population to the community to the ecosystem, it will make the earth great. And we need to rely on each other. That's the important thing that we need to know. We cannot live alone. Like Liverpool fans always say, we cannot walk alone again. We never walk alone again. So it is same goes to us. We cannot survive alone on this world. In this world, because we have to rely on plants. We have to rely on the good and healthy air system, okay, without pollution, etc. In order to survive. Okay. And if you look at the slide here about the composition of the earth, we have a lot of species, okay, and then we have a lot of elements that we have to consider. Okay, sometimes when we do anything in this world, we never think about others. Not only talking about between human and animals and plants, etc., but between human also, with our neighbors, and we never think about them. Sometimes we do anything just for the sake of our own benefit, okay, but we do not think about their consequences that will affect our neighbors. And if it is really worse lah, okay, worse when we never think about our environment or other living things that are actually sharing the same place as us. Okay, so we can be categorized as selfish lah. Okay, if we do things like that without thinking about others. So when we look at this point, when we have the interaction with all the living things and non-living things, okay, without we know or not knowing about that, basically we need to rely on them. The basic things that we can see here is the food chain. Imagine that if in this food chain, if one element ataupun producer lah, okay, let's say the producer, the main one, the main element here, the producer is actually not present there. Okay, we are actually losing one element in our main food chain. Okay, so what will happen to the next consumer? Okay, it will certainly affect the primary consumer that will consume the producer, like the grass or vegetables, plants, kan? Okay, the primary consumer cannot consume. Okay, and what will happen to the next consumers? So it will be related. Okay, the first thing that we do that will affect the first person ataupun the first population, it will certainly affect the others. Okay, so that's why whatever we do, it will not only affect our neighborhoods but also the other things that are relying on us, if not directly on us, but the persons who are relying on us. Okay, that is the food chain lah. Okay, what we call as the interaction between population, between species. So it will certainly affect the others. And actually what will happen is the cycle ataupun the food chain is actually in a apa tu closed cycle. Closed cycle. So at the end it will back to us. Okay, I think the problem in environment and the pollution issues, they are all start from us basically. All start from human. Okay, so whatever we do, at the end it will come back to us. Okay, all the effects, all the consequences. All right. So this is the some facts lah that I want to show you guys from WHO. Okay, about the air pollution, which is the silent killer lah. That kill almost many people, because of the pollution in the air, without we realizing that lah. Okay, so it affect us in many ways. Okay, and give us all kind of diseases lah related to the lungs, heart diseases, etc. So we can see here that 25% of urban ambient air pollution are from fine particulate matter that are actually contributed by the traffic, from our cars, motorcycles, all the transports that release all the toxic gases again to the air. Okay, 20% domestic fuel burning. Okay, if we burn anything lah, especially chemicals ataupun fuel kan, it will release certainly the particulates that will affect the quality of the air. Okay, and lastly 15% from the industrial activities lah. So we know that all the industries will release not only the waste to the air, but also in the sewage lah, ataupun in the form of effluents, that will go directly to the water stream. All right. So this is the idea lah about the quality of our air, okay, that we breathe in every day. Okay. And this is about the environmental protection expenditure. How much cost that has been has been used lah, okay, ataupun diperuntukkan by our government. This is from Department of Statistics. How much money that we need to reserve for the environmental protection processes ataupun steps lah. Okay, this is all the after effects lah. So we can see that the value from year to year, it is actually increasing. It keep on increasing. This is in million RM. And in 2018, this is until 2018 only lah. To million 600 sorry 2695 million ringgit Malaysia. So this is how much it costs lah whenever we do all the activities in our daily life, and the pollution is actually created without we realize it or not. So we have to pay for that. Okay, and let's look at the water that we have in this world lah. Okay, we have certainly very limited access to clean water. For your information, fresh water especially. If you look at the map, the earth, we can see that most of the earth is covered by water, right? Okay, blue in color. Okay, but it doesn't mean that we have all the access to the water for, for drinking, for taking the bath, okay, for using for our daily life purposes. Not all of the blue color that we see on the earth can be easily accessed or can be used. If you look at this portion of water that we can have here, 97.5% of water that we have on the earth is from salt water, which is hard water lah, basically from oceans, from the sea, that cannot be used for our daily life. So the fresh water that we can have is only 2.5%. And from there, from 2.5% fresh water that is considered as clean and soft water, okay, you can see here there is another proportion. And not all from 2.5% we can easily access. All right. For example, 1.7%, majority of them is in the form of glacier. Glacier ni in the form of ice lah, in the northern area of the earth lah. Okay, so it is not easily accessed. It is in the form of solid lah ataupun ice. Alright, and in the ground we have 0.75%. On the earth surface it's only 0.008%. That is what we can easily have access to lah. Okay, 0.008%. So the clean water, the fresh water that we consume every day for our daily life, for drinking, for cooking, etc., is only basically 0.008%, which is very, very small percentage that we can see here. Okay, but basically, for your information, 0.008%, it is enough. It is enough for all of the populations on the earth. Okay, not only for human, but also for others, for other living things. Basically it is enough. Okay, but we have the shortage of water, okay, clean water nowadays. It is actually not because of the amount that is small, because it is small from the beginning, and it is actually created that way. Okay, and normally it is more than enough for all the living things on the earth. But the problem is from 0.008%, what we have now, you can imagine why we have a shortage of clean water. Okay, we cannot have access to the clean water and fresh water for our daily life. Sometimes, like in Selangor, always the rupture of water supply to our houses. So this is actually because of what? It is not because of the quantity of water that we have from the beginning, but it is actually from 0.008% to most of them are being polluted. Okay, being polluted or being consumed in a way that inconsiderable lah, inconsiderable, and make it not enough for all the living things. So that is the fact lah that we have to know. So you can look at here, for example, the pollution that we can see related to the water. We have the water pollution in Sungai Kim Kim, in Johor lah. Recently in Selangor, Gombak, we can see that the water channels are being polluted. Not only being polluted, sometimes pollution can occur without showing the colors of the water, but the pollutants or the contaminants can be there, but we cannot see with our eyes. But if we look at the rivers that has been polluted in Malaysia, okay, most of them will certainly show the state of the water itself lah, clearly, without the analysis that we can do in details after that. Okay, we can see through the observations with our naked eyes. We can see at the first glance, we can see that the water is so black, sometimes so like teh tarik color. So it means that it is polluted, and it is not clean. Sometimes it has bubbles, bubbles ataupun forms that has been created. I don't know from where, we don't know from where. So we have to identify from where the cause of the problems like this. So this is the example that we have. The pollution in Kim Kim. Okay. So this is all the problems related to water pollution. Okay, so if you look at the state of water resources that we have in the river, for example, if the water is polluted from the source of contaminant or pollutant that we know, it is easy for us. It is easy for the legals to do their jobs lah, in order to take actions to them. For example, the enforcement officer can do their job better if we can know from where the source of pollutant, the source of contaminants that affect our conditions of river, for example. But the problem is the sources of pollutions, sometimes it cannot be identified. We have to do a lot of analysis, okay, in order to match our samples with which premise, which industries, which factories, okay, in order to take actions, okay, to them. Okay, so we call it as point and non-point sources of pollution lah. Point sources pollution, it is really easy. We can identify from where this problem comes, these contaminants come. But non-point sources is where the pollutions occur, but us, we cannot know the sources of pollutants. So we have to identify it, and it will take some time. Sometimes the process will take years in order to issue the the saman ke ataupun actions to the wrongdoers lah. Okay. And in order to avoid ataupun to solve the problems of pollutions, if the sources of pollutions are from non-point sources, it is also will be difficult for us to do the correction lah after that ataupun to do the treatment. Okay, so you can see here that the National River Water Quality Standards, we have class 1, class 2, 3, 4 and 5. And for your information, in Johor, this is the facts that I have received in 2000, I think 2019, 2020, 2020 lah, I think. Most of the rivers that we have in Johor are actually in the class 3 and above lah, 3, 4 and 5. We do not have class 1 is the best one lah, the best class of water quality is 1. The worst is class 5. Most of the river water that we have in Johor is in category 3, 4 and 5 lah. We have one before that, but it is not one anymore lah. Okay, so basically we don't have a very clean river water quality yang that we have lah in Johor. Okay, and for your information, all the water supply that we have in our university, our houses in Johor, all of them come from river lah in Johor. Okay, we don't have the mountains like in France ke, in Switzerland, that we can directly use their water, okay, for drink, okay, for our daily life directly, and not, we don't have that kind of things lah in Malaysia. So we have the river water lah as our main sources of water supply. So if they are not in the very good class of quality, so you can imagine lah what kind of water that we have to consume every day. But luckily we have the water treatment plant, okay, that do all the treatments. Okay. But unlike in European countries like in Switzerland, Italy, France kan, they don't have the water treatment plant like that lah. They just consume directly from the mountain, like from Mont Blanc, from Chamonix, Evian kan, Gunung Evian. We don't have that lah. Okay, so this is the influence from industry, the standard that they have to follow strictly. We have standard A, standard B. Okay, all the industries need to follow strictly these standards. accordingly lah. It is actually based on the place or the location of their factories. Whether it is before the water treatment plant or after water treatment plant, they have to follow the standards. But the problems are most of the industries did not follow the specs lah. So that is what is very sad lah to be here. Most of them don't want to comply with the standards because to install all the apa tu devices to control the quality of water, it is more expensive compared to paying the ni lah, the legal fees ataupun not legal fees, apa tu, saman ke ataupun undang-undang punya kesalahan. So they prefer pay one off lah, like that. After that they don't have to follow ataupun comply with the specs that has been set by our DOE, Department of Environment. Okay, so this is the industrial water quality monitoring methods. I think I don't want to highlight this. Okay, I will skip. Okay, so we have the Sustainable Development Goals (SDG). Okay, from United Nations. We have a lot of points that we need to focus on in order to protect our environment. This is for sustainability punya elements. So we need to preserve a lot of sources resources in this world on this earth in order to have a sustainable a place to be live lah. Okay, not only for us do not think only for us but also for the future generations especially the clean water the point number 6 clean water and sanitation. What else will highlight. Okay, good health and well-being. Okay, affordable and clean energy. All the red boxes that I have already highlighted here. Industry, innovation and infrastructure, sustainable cities and communities, responsible consumption and production. Okay, climate action, life below water, life on land. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9 out of 17 points under Sustainable Development Goals here. They are all related to the environment. Okay, so we need to really do something in order to protect our environment lah. Okay, so basically we have all this Environmental Quality Act we have our guidelines. For example, the famous one that we use in Malaysia is EQA lah, 1974. All the acts has all the regulations has been highlighted in this kitab environment. Okay, but not all of the stakeholders are actually playing their roles. They just learn about it know about it but do not apply on their basic life lah. Okay, especially in the industries. Most of the industries frankly speaking lah what they think is all about the money. Okay, all the apa tu keuntungan most of them. Okay, and quite least people who are actually in these industries are paying attention and think about the environment. Okay, I don't know maybe the money is king. Okay, so money can buy anything for them, so that is the problem. Okay, and it is not easy to solve this issue. Okay. All right, enforcement issue and challenges. We have a lot of rules and regulations. Okay, we have all the laws that has been emphasized. But after all, it is all about the awareness and attitude lah. Okay, so this is the problem and the challenges that we have. We have all the increasing numbers of environmental complaints nowadays. But limited resources with growing number of issue. So in order to solve the problem, I think since the cases are actually keep on increasing, okay, so we have limited resources to counter this issue already, to tackle the problems. Okay, attitude, cases, illegal discharge or accidental discharge from industries, and so this is all the careless things done by all the persons in the industries lah, they have to take action, take the responsibility basically. Okay. Unwillingness to invest. This is the problem that I mentioned just now lah. Okay. Because it is costly to set up all the devices in order to control the environment. Filtration process before releasing all the effluents to the environment. So this is actually costly for them. Okay. And need to maintain. So rather instead of doing that, they prefer rather paying the saman. Okay, they need to protect the water supply. So actually, it is all related to the awareness. Okay, and when we talk about awareness, okay, every individual on this earth, we have to think about that. We have to think about the environment. We cannot simply think that okay, it's okay lah, the that group has already focused on this problem, so we don't have to do lah. Okay, not like that. When we talk about environment, it is our responsibility, everyone's responsibility, in order to protect our environment, our ecosystem from being harmed ataupun from being polluted. Okay. So this is the ecological principles. I want to highlight about certain things under ecological studies. So if you guys know Greta, she is one of the famous ecologists atau environmentalists that has spoken up about the environmental issues very very loudly. Okay. But the problem is, I think we don't have to be like her. Okay. Because for her, everything is so dangerous for the environment until she didn't go to the school anymore. We don't have to be like that. We need to be knowledgeable at the same time. Okay. Besides being environmentalist. So we don't have to be like her. Okay. But we can take some important notes from her points lah. Okay. So we have to know that a lot of things, a lot of gadgets ke ataupun the modern style living living lifestyle right now that we are actually experiencing now, okay, in 21st century. Okay, a lot of them, without we realizing it, okay, are actually leading to the pollution. Okay, especially we don't go far lah, we just look at our gadgets ataupun all the smart gadgets that we use, smartphone, laptop, okay, all the devices, okay, that we actually use nowadays. It is actually leading to the pollution and environmental issues. So that is the point that Greta wanted to highlight lah actually. So we can take the points for our awareness. Okay. But at the same time, we have to go to the school, we have to go to the universities, we need to learn all the knowledge. We have to grab all the knowledge, okay, because we need it. We cannot just simply stop schooling, stop going to the universities because we want to be environmentalists. Okay, not like that. Okay. Okay. When we talk about the self-awareness, sometimes we have the people that are a group of people that are quite greedy or selfish, that we can call it atau label them. That is the word that we call the commons. The tragedy of commons. The commons tragedy is actually the tragedy ataupun the terms that is related to the environment. Why we call it common? Because it is actually I give you an idea where, for example, in one ocean, we have a lot of fishes. Like in this slide, you can look at this ocean. We have a lot of fishes. Normally, the fishes that are available there are actually more than enough for all the living things around lah. I mean, for all the human beings that are actually need to consume the fishes in that ocean. Okay, more than enough. Okay, enough for everyone of us, not only for us but also for other animals that need to eat the fishes. Okay, but what happened is some groups are quite selfish and greedy. They want to conquer all the resources there at the one place that is actually sharing with others for their own benefit only. So they like to fishing, okay, all the fishes there for their own company or ataupun for their own benefit, and then sell to others, okay, ataupun they convert the fishes for other purposes, okay, for the production of other products, okay, by the secondary products from the fishes, for example. And at the end, the resources in that ocean, okay, will not be enough for others, okay. The next person that want to consume the fishes there is not there anymore, okay. So that is what we call the commons, the commons is actually the commons resources that we need to share with others, but the tragedy of commons is where the supposedly resources that need to be shared with others is not there anymore, because there are one group or one a certain individuals like to conquer all of them for their own benefits, okay. So that is what we call tragedy of commons lah, okay. So it will cause the problems to others, okay, certainly, okay. Sometimes we don't have enough resources for us to consume. Sometimes certain species of animal that need to eat the fishes in the ocean, uh, but it's not available, okay. So what happened next is there's no food for them to survive, and then they will all die, okay. So that is the point where the extinction of of certain species start lah, actually, we don't want that, okay. All right. So I want to highlight on when we talk about commons, we talk about the ecological studies. I want to highlight on the laws that is related to the ecology. Okay, that has been introduced by Barry Commoners. Barry Commoners is the very famous ecologist lah. Okay, there are 4 laws that has been highlighted, which is everything is connected to everything else. Everything must go somewhere, okay, and nature knows best, okay. And lastly, there's no such thing as a freelance. So this is actually 4 laws that has been introduced by commoners, under ecological study, okay. So I will highlight one by one, okay. So when we talk about everything is connected to everything else, okay, like I've said from the beginning, everything that we do, okay, it will certainly affect the others, okay. Like in the food chain just now, okay. If we just touch one element in the food chain, it will certainly affect the others, okay, and then it will back to us again. All right. So whatever we do, whatever bad we do to the environment, it will come to us after that. So it is connected to each other, okay. So look at this lah, for example, okay. If we want to kill the mosquitoes, for example, so we do the shortcut, we just do ataupun put the pesticide, for example, okay. What will happen, it will kill all the other elements ataupun species. We don't want that, we need to avoid, and everything must go somewhere. Okay, so this is related to our topics lah. Everything that we produce, everything that we use, it will not be disposed, it will not be disappeared totally from our life ataupun from the earth, it must go somewhere, okay. There's no such place as away, okay. Sometimes we can say that it's okay lah, we don't need this anymore, we can throw them away, okay. There's no such a way, actually. Everything that we use, everything that we produce, especially lah, everything that we produce, we use every day, and then later on we feel that it's not beneficial for us anymore, we want to throw them away, but actually we cannot throw them, okay. They must go somewhere in the earth, it will be stuck in our ecosystem, it will not go anywhere, okay. I think I will show you the slide here. Okay. For example here, if we think that all the domestic punya waste from our houses, we don't want them anymore, so we just simply throw them from our houses, we feel that okay, from our houses it is already clean, but what happened to the environment, what happened to the surroundings, when we throw them on the ground, okay, when it rains, it will bring all the pollutants ataupun contaminants ataupun anything bad from the waste that we throw them outside our houses, it will go to the land, okay, go to the river stream, okay, and then it will be polluted, but it will be polluting the aquatic life. Okay, and then what will happen? The aquatic life, the fishes eat all the pollutants, the apa tu, all the pollutants, all the contaminants that we throw from our houses. The fishes ataupun all the aquatic life eat them, and then what happen? The fisheries will fish the fishes for us, okay, sell them to the apa, in the market, and then we go to the market, we buy them, we buy the fishes, we buy the apa, crabs ke, we buy the apa tu, udang ke, kan, and then we cook at our house. So all the contaminants consumed by the fishes, all the crabs this now, actually it's coming back to our houses, and then we cook them, and then we eat again. Okay, so we eat what we throw actually. So that is what we call everything that we throw will not be totally disappeared. It will be coming back to us. Okay. Alright, so for example, this is two details I don't want to show you. Okay, so this is the example lah. How long that does the garbage ataupun the apa tu, sampah-sampah yang kita buang itu akan berada di dalam our ecosystem. Okay, for example, the train tickets, for example, it is from paper, 2 weeks to be totally decomposed in the nature. Okay, orange peel, even though it is organic, it will take 6 months, alright. Milk cartons, yang kotak-kotak tin, you can see here 5 years, 50 years, tin can, batteries, 100 years, plastic bottle yang very famous that we always use, almost every day, 450 years in order to be disappeared from the earth, from the ecosystem. So whatever we produce, okay, even though we throw them from our houses, it will stay there. Okay. Alright, and nature knows best. Okay, this is the third ecology law, which is nature knows best. How to treat this kind of pollutants, contaminants. So this is where we come to the 3R ataupun all the solutions in order to treat our environment from being polluted ataupun from being apa tu, loaded with all the garbage ataupun landfills filled with all the products that we don't want to use anymore. Okay, so this is the process that we call it as nature knows the best. Okay, basically we have all the technologies, and we have the devices in order to collect all the garbage, for example, and then bring them to the landfill. How many landfill that we need to prepare for the on the earth ni? Banyak landfill dah ditutup, sebab apa, all the garbage has already fully loaded the place, so at the end the landfill need to be closed because there's no more places to load the garbage, so at the end the garbage will stay there, okay, and then we just wait until the process of decomposition to take place, so it will not actually helping the ecosystem as well, so actually some of the technologies that we can use, we can relate to the nature because the natural process is actually based on the very commonness is the best method. Okay, for example, aerobic decomposition. Okay, in the wastewater treatment plant, sometimes wastewater treatment plant we use the apa tu, modern ataupun the very high tech technology, okay, in order to do the treatment of the wastewater, okay, but actually sometimes the natural process, for example aerobic decomposition using bacteria ke, natural bacteria ataupun using natural decomposition by oxygen ke, for example, aerobic is using oxygen, for your information. So it is actually the best way in order to do the wastewater treatment, for example. So this is another example, which is the composting toilet. The composting toilet is actually all the pieces, all the urines that we throw in the toilet actually is not going to the wastewater treatment plant ataupun there's no channel from the houses to the plant, underground. But we prepare something that is related to the nature because all we eat, and then what we throw away from our body is actually going back to the nature. Okay, and nature knows the best. Okay, so the composting toilet is where the elements that we prepare underneath the soil, apa below the apa ni toilet bowl tu. Okay, we prepare some things that will decompose directly, our feces and urine, and it can be used after that for the benefits of other plants or animals, because our feces and urine sometimes still contains some minerals that can be useful for other elements, rather than we bring to the wastewater treatment plant very far away from our domestic places, and then it will give a lot of disadvantages lah, because we have to construct all the channels underground, etc. Okay, and sometimes ada leaking, so it will give the effects lah. Okay, so this is the example of urine from cows, because it is beneficial for the plant. Okay, and the constructed wetland, we do the constructed wetland normally for flooding, but we can also do the constructed wetland in order to treat the wastewater, using the natural way, okay, which is using the plants, okay, in order to treat the water that has been polluted. Okay, and then the water that has been treated from the wetland, from the constructed wetland, can be reused. Okay, can be reused ataupun can be disposed. Okay, so this is another way of 3R lah actually, that is more advanced lah. I want to show you. Okay, the wastewater that comes from industry, from the domestic, we can treat them and then can be reused again lah. Okay, but sometimes it can be reused for daily life other than for drinking lah, for drinking, but it is for something like for apa tu industries in the car washing apa semua tu, so this is the example lah. Okay, we use the septic tank, ataupun septic tank ni macam tank di bawah toilet tu jugalah, kita buat composting. Okay, so this is my own waste to wealth project. Okay, we have a lot of garbage from our kitchen, for example, macam kulit telur, eggshells ni, the most abundant garbage lah that come from our kitchen, but we just simply throw them. Okay, but kita tak tahu nak buat apa. Okay, so this is my project currently with my students, so I use the eggshells to produce my own filter membrane. Okay, and if we grind the eggshells, we can have the same same powder form as silica, very fine, which is very good. And you know that eggshells consists of calcium carbonate, rich in calcium carbonate, and very beneficial lah for certain interactions with chemicals. So we produce the membrane in this form, okay, at the end from the eggshells, and then we can use for the filtration purposes lah. Okay, we can use to treat water. Okay, so from something that is considered as waste, we can make it something that is very valuable. Okay, and can be used for environmental purposes as well. Okay, one is like this, the membrane. Another one is hollow fiber membrane like this. Two types of membrane lah, and so far that I have produced with my team using the waste. Okay. Okay, this is my own composting project that I did near my house. I'm a fellow in UTM, in KTDI. Okay, so this is one of my project lah, my own project, personal project that I do behind my house in UTM. This is during PKP. During PKP, we receive a lot of foods. A lot of foods. Banyak sangat orang supply free foods for us, and we don't we were not able to finish all of them. So sometimes we have to throw. So instead of throwing in the normal dustbin, okay, this kind of organic waste, we can do this kind of composting lah. So I dig the soil, okay, and then I put the cover, guna pasu, guna vest. Okay, after 1 week, it becomes like this lah. So there's no odor, there's no apa tu bad odor lah, okay, that's been released, and it is very healthy actually for the soil. Okay, this kind of composting will lead to the more healthy and nutritional lands, and it's so good lah for the plants to grow up. Okay. And lastly, there's no such thing as a free lunch. So we need to know that everything that we produce, everything that we buy, it is not free. Even the water that we consume, even though we open the tap of water in our kitchen, in the toilet, even though it flows all the time, every day, it is not free. We pay for the bill. Even though it is the natural resources, but it's not something that is considered as free, and it cannot be replaceable. It cannot be replaced. Once it is consumed, once it is already been used, it cannot be returned back to us lah. Okay, so that's why we have to think about whatever we do, whatever we use. We need to think that we will not waste the resources. Okay. All right. So reduce, recycle concepts is actually there's a hierarchy lah, from reduce. Okay, if we can reduce the things that we use, it is better. For example, the plastic bags, we try to reduce the use of them. Okay, and once we use them, okay, we need to think about the reuse, about the reuse, how to reuse them again, so that we don't have to buy another thing, so we reuse. Okay, if it is cannot be reused, it cannot be reused, something that is apa tu, maybe one shot utilization, okay, ataupun one time utilization, what we can use, we can recycle to another things, okay, because why, if we just throw them to the apa tu, to the bin, it will stay there for many years. Okay, it will stay there even though it has been transferred to the landfill. So try to recycle to produce another products that can be beneficial for others. Okay, and then lastly, last option is disposable lah. If we cannot do anything, we can dispose our garbage tu lah. Okay, so this is very important lah. So this is from the committee itself. I take from Instagram. Okay, so you have to know the facts that actually comes with all this environmental punya issue. Every day, we throw 1.17 kilogram of solid waste in Malaysia. In Malaysia. Okay, in 1 week, the waste can fill up the Petronas Tower. This is very true, actually. Okay, for your example. And 174 landfills were closed because they are already full. So what we want to do, actually, we want to reopen the new landfill. We don't have enough space anymore. Okay, we don't have enough space anymore. How many jungles, forests that we need to develop in order to transfer them, apa tu, transform them to be a landfill? It will be a very bad idea, actually. So we have to think about the 3 R's concept in order to reduce the opening of the new landfills, etc. Okay. So this is the facts that you need to know. Okay, if we recycle the elements ataupun all the waste from our house, we can save the environment. We can save the environment. So this is the target that we know that we have now. Until 2020, we have only 38,000. 2022, 39,000 ton of waste daily. It is keep on increasing, but the problem is the recycling rate, but as been told by Dr. Fairuz just now, is very low, quite low. 2021 is only 31%, compared to other developed countries like in European. They are far apa tu advanced compared to us in the recycling process. I've been staying in France before this for almost 10 years as a student there. So I have experienced the life there, and the recycling activities in every houses in France is something like common. Something like common. Everyone in the house is doing the recycling, the apa ni, apa tu, sorting the garbage, sorting the waste from the kitchen, and then throw them separately. Okay, all the wet food, all the wet waste will be thrown in the normal dustbin. All the things that can be recycled, can be reused, we will keep them in the separate bins. So we keep on doing them every day, and almost in all the houses are doing that. Including us Malaysian, because we were trained to be like that. Okay, for example, even in Malaysia, in UTM, I still doing things like that lah. So this is the example. This is the real things that I do lah in my house in UTM. I do separate all the garbage lah, all the waste that I've produced in our kitchen all the cartons all the glass and then the devices, batteries semua ni e-waste. So we do separate them. But sometimes it's quite difficult to find the recycling bin in UTM so at the end we just need to apa to gather all of them in the same dustbin at the end. But in our from our kitchen, from our house, we do really do things like this lah. We do separate them. Even sometimes like the can the aluminum can containing the foods before we separate them in the special dustbin, we still wash them with water, not thoroughly lah, just rinse with water and then we put in the separate dustbin. Okay, I don't know. It is quite difficult to stop doing things like that, especially being an environmentalist. We love our environment, and then we have that kind of awareness and the training that has been train us for very long time. So we feel very bad if we do not do some things like that. So as a human, we have our own responsibility. We don't have to blame others for not doing their job, but we have to start with ourselves in order to protect our nature, to protect our environment, so that it can be long lasting. It can sustain for many years ahead, especially for the next future generations. I think that is all from me. I'm so sorry I exceed the time limit. Okay, so I think I can pass back to our moderator or MC, and if we have any question we can try to answer, okay, from the audience.
Okay, terima kasih. Thank you to Dr. Akmali atas begitu banyak info. There's many info that is reading just now, and then sangat menariklah info tu, dan diharapkanlah para hadirin semua dapat mengambil manfaat atas info-info yang semasa tadi yang dijelaskan oleh Dr. Akmali. Dan saya sangat terkesan. Actually, plastic bottle yang kita selalu guna tu rupanya memerlukan 450 years to dispose, untuk hilang dekat dunia ni. 450 years. It's too long. Okay, baiklah. Kita akan teruskan sesi seterusnya, itu sesi soal jawab. Sesi soal jawab ni akan dibuka selama 10 minit. Jadi para hadirin yang mempunyai sebarang persoalan boleh mengajukan, jangan segan dulu. Boleh buka mic ataupun boleh tulis di ruangan komen, di ruangan chat. Okay, baik. Ada satu soalan saya akan cuba bacakan. So, good morning. I would like to ask, we have been aware about the global warming and the melting of glaciers that cause high risk of sea level. What are initiatives taken by World Environmental Corporation? Okay, soalan daripada Kirian.
Ya, dekat chat soalannya.
Betul dekat chat betul.
Ya, saya chat.
What are initiatives taken by World Environmental Corporation?
About the
berkaitan global warming. Betul.
Okay. About the global warming and melting of glacier issue that we are facing right now, right? So actually the global environmental corporation the world ni lah association has done a lot of planning future plan in order to stop them from being melting so but it is it is very difficult to to instruct ataupun to force all the stakeholders all the stakeholders yang terlibat to play their roles we just do the give the guidelines what we have to do in order to protect the environment from the global warming, etc., by giving the guidelines, okay, in order to for example in the industries when they want to produce their production, okay, they have to fit with their factories with something like fume hood, okay, ataupun fume hood yang tu cerobong asap tu that is equipped with the filter, okay, so that the gases that has been released from the company ataupun factories tu will be the fresh one lah, ataupun if still contain the particulates or toxical gases, it is already limited and up to the standard that has been set, but the problem is DOE cannot do the inspection every day from one factory to one factory. It is very difficult actually, and if the DOE do the inspection, okay, at that companies ataupun industries, and if we detect something wrongdoing, okay, or something that is not up to the specs ataupun standards, okay, we will take actions lah. Sometimes we will give the apa tu give the what we call warning, and if still not taking action, the warning, we will finally sita ataupun seal the company lah, the industry. So there is the very strict action lah that has been actually enforced by the government, but it is not easy to do to all the company. How many industry that we have in one state lah, for example in Johor, how many in JB only we have many thousand industries, so it's not easy to inspect. And sometimes for example the pollution that we have, for example the non-point sources pollution, kan, it's too hard to blame anyone that is related to that problem, okay. So in order to do that, the best thing, for example for me, when we talk about environment, okay, about the issue on the global warming, etc., it is all related to self-awareness first, okay. When the industries are actually doing their jobs while thinking on the environment or the consequences from their activities, uh, I think actually it will help the environment, okay. But from the apa tu entitled body, okay, DOE, etc., they have done their job, okay. They have provide all the guidelines that all the players, industries players need to comply. But after all, they don't want to do that. Sometimes it is also related to the political issue. Ada political backgrounds. It's very difficult to take actions. Kebal. Sometimes, okay. And sometimes, as I have mentioned just now, they just prefer to pay the ni lah, the saman, instead of equipping their industries ataupun factories with the devices that will control the pollution issue. Biasanya bila kita equip the factories with this kind of devices, macam fume hood ataupun wastewater treatment plant sendiri sebelum release the effluents to the river, it will be costly and need to be maintained. So that's the problem lah. Okay, but after all, if we think about the environment, the cost will not be the problem lah. Okay, alright.
Okay, terima kasih atas jawapan yang diberikan. Harap menjawab saudara siapa nama dia tadi. Tidak terputus. Okay, okay. So next, the second question, Doctor. Okay. Hi, from Pawiji. Hi. What are some small changes in our daily routine that can bring huge good impact to our environment?
Okay, small changes in our daily routine that can bring huge good. Yeah, okay.
Yes.
Actually, yes. If you can do small things first, even though it's difficult, it will certainly help the environment. For example, if you try to start the 3R process in your own room, for example, students context is in the room lah. Okay, if you do start with your own in your own room, okay, it will give the very good impact to the others. Let's say if some of your friends go to your room and then seeing you do things like that, so it will sometimes inspire them to do so. Okay, so it will give the influence to others lah. Okay, and imagine if 100 of people seeing the good things in their community. Okay, for example, in the block, everyone is doing the same thing. So for example lah, in my case, when I was in France, I think I saw all my neighbors are doing the same thing, recycling, buat apa tu, sorting of the waste in the kitchen. So I was influenced to do so. Okay, so imagine if you can influence people, many people around you, so you will give the very huge impact lah to the, not only to the society but also to our environment. So everything start from ourselves, start from our own room. Okay, and then slowly you can also expand to the other institution lah, maybe in your class later on. Okay, after that you can give the awareness. Okay, share what you are doing, the good things that you do on your social media, for example. Okay, that is the purpose of doing TikTok, not only dancing lah kan kat TikTok. So you can share whatever you do, okay, in TikTok ke, in Instagram, okay, things like this. Okay, so it will certainly influence the others lah. Alright.
Okay, so manfaatkan sebaiknya TikTok dan IG lah. To influence people to arah yang lebih baik. Okay, Dr. Mary, ini adalah soalan yang terakhir from Meli Kimia. Hi, do the initiative by automotive industry such Tesla using electric energy chargers instead of fuel for gas, does it bring huge benefits to our environment?
Yeah. Actually, what is done by Tesla, which is replacing some of the cars from fuel or gas consumption to electrical consumption, is something that is very good lah for the environment future. Which is actually not only for the environment but also the resources. Because as we know, the fuel that we have, fuel resources, it's quite limited right now. We, for example, macam Petronas pun keep on digging the new plant in order to find the new platform lah, and to extract the apa tu, the fuel kan. So it's not something like renewable. Okay, so we go for something that is renewable and more clean to the environment. Even though we can also know that smart cars pun sama juga macam gadgets kan. After that we have to sometimes if it's not useful anymore, we will abandon them. Okay, and most of the gadgets ataupun smart devices ni memang akan ada chemical ataupun elements yang digunakan dalam tu that is not easily to be decomposed lah, ataupun not disposable. So it would be harmful to the environment as well. But if they think about the future plan on how to tackle this issue, so it will be good lah. Okay, macam e-waste sekarang ni, dulu kita memang e-waste tu tak tekankan sangat. Macam apa tu, gadgets zaman sebelum 90s kita tak ada lagi smartphone, tak ada laptop sangat kan. So nowadays we have all the smartphones. yang macam satu smartphone tu boleh guna setahun je, and then later on we have to throw. Okay, so what can be done from the thrown away gadgets? So we can extract from the smartphones, because inside the smartphones we have all the chips, and sometimes we have the materials that is very expensive. Okay, and they can be recovered back, can be recovered back, so it can be reused lah. So same goes to the electrical cars ni. If someday it's still not if it is not being useful anymore, right? So we can extract all the valuable elements from them lah. And at the same time, it is very good for the environment lah, because it is not releasing the the gases, the harmful gases to the air. Okay, so it's very good lah.
Baiklah, terima kasih doktor atas jawapan yang diberikan. Harapnya Mimi Kimia menjawab soalan ni. Terusnya, maka masa amat mencemburi kita. Sekarang pun dah 11:21. Jadi kami ingin mengucapkanlah terima kasih kepada Dr Akmali atas perkongsian yang sangat menarik, dan saya mewakili jawatan kuasa program jawatan kuasa program Make Everyday a Day ingin mengucapkan jutaan terima kasih atas perkongsian yang diberikan, dan kami harap terima kasih atas doktor sanggup luangkan masa kepada kami, dan para hadirin pun diharapkan dapat ambil idea ataupun manfaat ilmu knowledge, awareness tu, apa yang macam Dr. Akmali kata tadi, bila berkaitan dengan kesedaran ni, kita sepatutnya setiap orang, bukannya kita saling, tak apalah, ada kelab environment society yang akan yang akan ni lah, yang dia lah, tak apalah, kita hanya mengharapkan Department of Environment je yang tak boleh. Jadi kalau buat kesedaran, kena setiap orang ambil action